And here we are. We are here with Barry Gregory and Thomas Florimonte from Ka-Blam Digital Printing.
What's going on?
All right. Well, we'll start off with Tommy since he likes to talk first.
Oh no.
Thomas, just for anybody.
I was sharing everything on the Facebook there. So
okay. Well, for anybody watching later on or live, y'all can ask questions. You can do whatever you want, but if you have any questions for him, but Thomas, if you want to start off, kind of give us a background on what you're doing and what you've done, and
other than Ka-Blam, I've been a comic book creator for what seems like forever since I got out of college. Worked on all kind of stuff, mostly inking, but lately I'm doing a lot of my own creator-owned stuff. Zomboy for one, and Little Nay and So-So and Mystery Girls and all that kind of stuff. I've done a bunch of stuff with Barry, the Amen Amazing Man, and all that kind of good stuff, and Miniature Man. But right now I'm kind of working on a little secret project I can't talk too much about. But other than my own stuff, I'm trying to finish up the Zomboy, or get back onto Zomboy. I did the first issue, but I've got a few more to do, and I've got the Mystery Girls that the 5th issue is done. I just have to color it, and then I'll get that one out for everybody. Has been wondering what's going on with it, but it's been kind of slow going on all the my own personal stuff because Ka-Blam has taken over, and so it's kind of hard to work on other stuff when which is fine. That's really good. That's what we started Ka-Blam about, to make sure that we could get books out, and because Ka-Blam is a printing company, so we print for pretty much everybody. So,
all right. Well, and then also you did work for Marvel and Malibu.
That's true. Okay, that's true. Yes, I've throughout my 30 some odd years, I've inked for pretty much everybody. Marvel, the Ultraverse, a lot of background work for a bunch of different companies, including DC and Image, and just a bunch of stuff. Hey, Dave. Hey, fellas, is what Dave has to say. But I've inked for they're up until about 20 years or so ago when moved to Orlando. I claim that I pretty much inked something for every major comic book company out there. I've done some stuff for just about everybody. But since then, it's been Ka-Blam, 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 Ka-Blam.
All right. Well, and also we have Mr. Barry Gregory. Barry, if you kind of give us a little background on how you got into doing this.
Yeah, sure. I sold a couple of short stories that I wrote in college to Malibu Comics, which was at the time, I think, the number 3 publisher in comics. This would have been early 90s. And they were still doing these, one-shot anthology kind of things back then. And I sold a couple of short pieces to them. Those was my first published comics work. And then from there, I lied my way into a couple of coloring gigs, pretending that I knew what I was doing, and kind of got a toehold there, and held on for dear life, through the 90s. Did a lot of coloring work, did some more writing work, ghosted a lot of things, turned that into an editor's job in the late 90s, which was a lot of fun, and also a terrible job.
Ends up making you lose a lot of hair.
Yeah, lost pretty much all of it. Built up a sleep debt that I'll never recover from. And then, moved to Orlando, and a couple of years after we were down here, Thomas and I came up with the idea to start this publisher services company, which turned into a digital printing shop, and never looked back.
Well, I said a lot of people, may not even realize it, but a lot of the conventions they go to, and you see a lot of these independent artists have their own book. I would say about 75 to 80% of them is stuff that y'all have printed. What kind of made y'all decide that this was the route you wanted to go?
Well, we actually kind of backed into it. When I had looked into digital printing a little bit in the late '90s when I was an editor, but the technology just really wasn't feasible yet. It was possible, but it wasn't really ready yet. Um, and then we started making comics again. I took a couple of years off after my editor's job, and then started making some comics again in the early aughts, and Thomas was doing the same. And we were outsourcing the print on our comics, and had a couple of hiccups with our supply, and I ended up missing a big convention because I didn't get the books that I had ordered, and so we started kicking around the idea of could we do this ourselves? I had a lot of experience, as an editor and putting comics together. Thomas had that plus the experience as a production manager at a newspaper. And so we started looking into it, not necessarily as the idea of starting a business, but as, is this something we could run out of a spare bedroom and, print our own books? And it turns out, yes and no. We did for a little while run it out of a spare bedroom in Thomas's house.
I'm actually sitting in it right now. This is the origin right here.
But it wasn't. It was way too expensive to do that and just print our own books. So if we were going to do it, we were going to have to open it up, and hang a shingle out and let everybody know we were in business and that we could print our books as well as theirs.
So how long started did it take you to get it kind of? Now, I know y'all are working pretty well before all this pandemic stuff started. Y'all are working your tails off. You're pretty much working every day, shipping stuff out, printing things out, getting them bound, everything else, and also I know y'all do something. I guess we'll get into a little bit later is fulfillment on Kickstarter things, which is something. But I guess probably one of the biggest things some people who will be tuning in are asking, how easy is it to? I know, but I want you to explain. How easy is it to go ahead and if they've got an idea and they want something printed, getting it to you and getting the printed piece in their hands?
It's not difficult to get it to us. The real tricky part is being sure that you do it right in the first place. We unfortunately we deal with a lot of people that don't understand the difference between manufacturing and magic. So if you've got when you're making your comic, you've got to work with the end in mind. You've got to be thinking about how this is going to print, what I need to do in order to get this to print properly, and what that comes down to is technical specs. Being sure that you're working at the right ratios, that you know how to set a page up so that you have the proper margins and you have the proper bleeds, and that when it goes through the press and gets trimmed in the finisher, it's going to look like a professional comic. But
basically all these specs and stuff are on your website.
They're on the site.
Yeah, everything is there.
They're on the site. We built templates, so that it's really just a matter of more or less plug and play. You open up our template in your either your page making program or just in Photoshop or whatever you're using. Set your guidelines along the margins and the bleeds and the safe areas, and keep your lettering and your text inside the live area. Keep your really important art inside the margins. And be sure that everything that you want to bleed off the edge of the page bleeds off the edge of the canvas. It's not hard.
It's pretty. You would think it would be easy, but we do get some stuff sometimes.
We deal with a lot of young creators who are doing their comic for the first time.
For the very first time.
And most of them, don't understand the mechanics of how a comic is made, and so they see the comic on the shelves in your shop, and they don't realize that that was actually printed slightly larger than that and trimmed to a uniform, size. So when they make their comics, they're making it the size of the print comic that they see on the shelf, when it actually needs to be just a little bit larger.
Right.
A printer needs that margin of error in the bleed area in order to give you a product that looks the way you want it to look.
Okay, and well, I guess one of the biggest advantages for you doing me all is like, if they go through another printer or anything like that, they're going to have to get 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 copies done. I know y'all actually have the stuff to where if they want just 10 copies or even just one copy, they have the option for doing that as well.
Minimums of one.
Yeah, Thomas and I were both self-publishing in the 90s. We both dabbled in that a little bit.
Yeah.
And back then there was no print on demand shop. If you wanted your comic printed, you had to go to a commercial offset printer, and you had a 3,000 minimum.
Yeah, black and white did that.
And color was out of the question. But
no, could not afford a color.
Yeah. But you had to order 3,000 books, and your orders, at least mine were seldom over 1,500 copies. So that meant that I had to order double what I actually needed, and then park in my driveway because my garage was full of boxes of books. And the thing that digital printing, the trade-off that you make with digital printing is you have a higher per unit cost than you do if you go to a commercial offset and order a gazillion copies, but you don't have to order a gazillion copies, and you can start making money a lot quicker. Yeah, your margins are going to be smaller, but you don't have all that, all those books that you're never going to sell sitting in your garage, just, wasted capital.
Well, that's one of the things I love is because y'all keep the stuff. If the creator chooses, you keep it on file, and they wanted 20 copies, and then to go to a convention, or 50 copies. If they only sold 30 of them, they could just order 30 more to take to the next one to get back to their original 50.
Yeah, that's actually what we recommend that people do is rather, if somebody wants to order 2,000 books, God bless you, we'll send them to you. But you're probably better off ordering to your immediate needs.
Only get what you need. If you need 20, just get 20. If for a weekend or one day show, if you need 50, like Barry's saying, get as many as you need. We've set up the site so that everything is reorderable. Is that a word? Reorderable? Yeah. And so you can and we keep the files so you don't have to resend them to us. Once we've proofed the files the first time and they're printable the first time, they're there ready for you to go again. We've spent a lot of money with this big, huge, massive storage device so that we're storing stuff from. How long have we been doing this? 15 years, 20 years, 100?
Yeah, about almost 15 years.
So from the very, very beginning, user number, 1, we've got golly, 18,000 users now. So not everybody's, done stuff,
active
but we've
all
got
the time, yeah.
Right. But we've stored everything from the very beginning, unless they've told us that they, are never going to order it again and they wanted us to dump the files. But we have got everything backed up.
Actually, you lowballed it. It's actually 28,000.
Oh God, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we just jumped the 27 and went into 28 just this week. Even during this virus thing going on, we're still getting new people putting in some orders, and we have jumped into the 28,000. You were correct.
And we archive every
single thing.
Yeah. And we actually, we don't advertise this as a service. Perhaps we should, but we've helped a lot of people who've lost files in hard drive crashes because we've got them archived and backed up in triplicate.
Yeah, it's a completely redundant system that keeps if a drive it's computer talk, but it's got a RAID system. So if one drive dies, you can just take another one that keeps going. But we've like Barry's saying, we've helped people get their files back. Yeah. So that's cool. It's a lot of files.
Well, earlier, Thomas was talking about his stuff that he's working on with like Mystery Girls and Lil Nan So and Zomboy. But I know some of the things you've been working on, Barry, also is the Gallant stuff with, well, originally with Stephen Butler, but
Yeah.
You're going to be expanding outwards possibly?
Well, we started it as it was just something that Stephen and I were, we're going to have our midlife crises together and, and do the comic book that we always dreamed of doing. And then, life intruded and it ended up taking a lot longer than we thought. And we had to bring in Thomas to help us or we would have never gotten it finished.
No problem. Love doing it.
We built up a little bit of an audience. People seem to really like, the concept behind the Gallant comics. And now because of that, it's a blessing and a curse, but now Stephen had plenty of time to do it when we started, but because it worked, people remembered how great he is. And now suddenly he doesn't have the time to do it anymore because he's got so many more demands on his schedule. So, he and I worked out an agreement where, he would still do, the major covers for me and still do the design work. And, but I would go out and find other artists to work on projects. And we were going to have a big push in 2020. I have, 3 or 4 books that I was going to be launching in 2020. And this, nightmare of a pandemic has just kind of put everything on hold. And, I don't want to have people working on things if I'm not sure I can pay them. And so I've got 3 finished comics right now, or 3, fully penciled comics. I've still got, and inked comics. I've still got to finish the colors and the lettering and all that on them. But I'm holding off. I don't know, when would be a good time to put them out. I don't want to float them out at a time when nobody's got any expendable money.
Or they're worrying about other things.
Yeah,
right.
Understandably.
So, well, one of the services I guess y'all aren't very well known for, but you should be, is the fulfillment of Kickstarter, by basic Kickstarter fulfillments. You have the environment set there in place already to do these fulfillments, rather than somebody having to completely get these things printed, package them up individually, and mail them back out. You can pretty much take care of it from the print to the mail out.
Yeah, a couple of years into this, we built the Ka-Blam sister site, Indie Planet, as a print on demand comic shop, so that people who printed their comics with us will have an online home where they can sell them direct to either the end user or to shops. We've got a multi-comic discount or multi-comic discount if shops want to order these. So we built the infrastructure already to do short run fulfillment, one-off fulfillment. And so it was a pretty simple matter to adapt that to Kickstarter and other crowdfunding sources. So if somebody's got a Kickstarter campaign, we can handle the printing and the fulfillment and all in-house. And since we're already set up to do one-off fulfillment, we don't add an extra charge to that. We charge you for the printing, and you'll pay for the creator or publisher will pay for the printing and the shipping. But we don't tack an extra charge onto that.
See, I would have thought you would, or maybe you should.
Well, we kind of thought of it like, we, like Barry was saying, we have the Indie Planet, which, we're doing one-off books anyway. So what's any difference than it,
Yeah.
So it's just sending, we need to print 300 books to ship off, or if there's an order for 300 books, we can just boom, 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 boom. You just ship them.
We can batch print all the shipping and pack them up and ship them out. I mean, we're set up to do that.
Yep, and we do it every week. There's 2 or 3 of those Kickstarters or Patreons going out.
Well, Dave Bain's asking, would Gallant be a shared universe, or will they be individual books when the rest of them come out?
It's not really a shared universe because I'm too greedy for that. I want to write them all. I want to control how the universe works. And because I have limited time to write books, that means there'll be limited books, which means I can afford to be extremely picky about, who I work with. And besides, when Stephen is the benchmark, that's a pretty high hurdle.
Yeah.
Already. So, yeah.
So you're saying like John Amen won't cross over with one of the future books?
No. That kind of shared universe thing might happen. I misunderstood. Maybe I misunderstood the question. I thought he meant, is this was I setting this up for other people to come play in my sandbox? The answer to that is no. Only I'm going to play there. But no, it is all it is all a cohesive universe. Actually, in the Miniature Man series that Thomas and Stephen and I worked on, it was pretty clearly said. There weren't a lot of characters crossing over, but it was pretty clearly set in the same universe. And we mentioned John Amen at least once in there, I think, and we had the same. We had the X Bureau, which is our superhero police force in both books. So yeah, all the others will be set in the same universe. The third issue of Miniature Man is one of those that I've got in the can right now, waiting to go. I've got 2 issues of a new series that I'm still going back and forth on the title of, but it'll be some form of Monster Hunters for Hire, which is my love letter to the Bronze Age Marvel monster books.
I think we all know somebody who would be really good penciler on those books.
Yeah, Del Barris did the artwork on Monster Hunters for Hire, and he did a lot of work Marvel and DC in the 80s and early 90s. A lot of TV and film work. It's good artist, really good artist.
Yep, they look good.
And if you ever need somebody to fill in, you've got somebody who does monsters just about better than anybody else in the world.
Who, you?
No, a guy by the name of Mitch Berg.
No, Mitch has got his own book that he's working on.
Yeah, Mitch does have his own book.
Yeah, it's if we could get him to finish.
I know. Well, hopefully throughout all this stuff, I'll
hit him up to do something.
I'll have to get on.
I think he's got the second issue almost done, doesn't he?
Last I talked to him, it's supposed to be completely done. He just has to figure out how he's going to write it.
Oh, how's he? Yeah, yeah. Well, there is that.
Yeah, at Pensacon, Mitch was sitting next to Victor Gischler, and Mitch said he told Victor he didn't know how to write it well, and so Victor told him, well, just write it bad, but just write
it. Write it. And that's one that you're coloring, correct, Barry?
Yeah.
Mitch's book, yeah.
Well,
you're doing all the production and color.
Yeah. Something a lot of people don't realize, like, so back when you were talking about doing background inks earlier, Thomas, you used to do stuff for some pretty prolific people like Jimmy Palmiotti, and did some backgrounds for them.
Oh yeah, that shoot, pretty much everything. What, late '90s, early 2000s, whatever you want to call it. I pretty much anything that he was inking at the time before. He's pretty much just writing now, but everything that he was inking, I had probably something to do with most of it. I would say about 80% of the stuff that his name is on. You can see sometimes he actually put my name. I was able to get credit for it, but usually I snuck my name in here and there, and in the background, and drew little funny stuff in the background. But yeah, I pretty much inked pretty much all of his background. He had a couple of different background guys, but I was his main guy. I think him and his brother for sure, right. Or me and his brother, rather. Yeah.
And then and Barry, I know you don't tell a lot of people this, but you've actually discovered, and I would almost say responsible for some other people who are prolific in especially the indie comic scene now. Back when you were an editor,
there's a big one that I was the submissions editor on when it came across my desk. I was I'm the original fan of the Goon. That came across my desk, and I was the first editor to say yes to it, first person to publish it, and Yeah, and he did a couple of other things after
A couple
that,
of things.
Then yeah, you were actually the first person to color it too, aren't you?
No, actually,
No?
he Eric painted his own covers, so I never did any color work on that. All I did was basically take what he did and send it to press without really touching it, and turn his invoice over to accounting. That's pretty much the extent of my that and being the one to say yes, I will publish this.
And if for anybody's wondering, it was actually in Barry's wife's book, Dreamwalker, with issue 0 that it came out in.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if y'all
we ran a little preview. Eric still thinks of it as an ad, and he's probably right. It really wasn't a preview. It was just like a multi-page advertisement for it.
It was like 4 or 5 pages.
A 4-page story.
Yeah, and once a decision is made by the comics collecting community, there's no changing it. So it's been decided that the first appearance of the Goon was in Dreamwalker number 0, even though it probably was just an ad. But because that's considered now officially the first appearance, then all the guidebooks have Dreamwalker 0 as a rather expensive book, and it goes for good money on eBay from time to time, and I personally threw away probably 500 copies of it when we moved to Orlando.
Oh God!
Just because we had so many boxes of overprint, and some of them got a little water damage in the move. So
you'd be surprised. Even the water damage ones will probably go for $100.
Yeah, I'm sure they're at the bottom of a landfill somewhere by now, though. No, I just occurred to me. You said I did do some coloring on the Goon.
That's what I thought.
A little bit, but that was in the Dark Horse version. After I quit the editor's job and after Eric went to Dark Horse, he asked me if I'd help out and do a little bit of the color assists once the book went monthly, and I helped out for 5 or 6 issues, not for very long though.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, Renell Creighton's asking, how's Zomboy doing these days?
Well, Renell is my wife's cousin, so she's just trying to be sneaky and sneak a question in there. She knows exactly how Zomboy is doing pretty good. I'm working on there was a 0 issue of the new Zomboy, the current Zomboy. There was a 0 issue, and then I've got a 5-part story where I've done the first issue, and I have just had a hard time getting the time to wrap it up. What it was Barry was telling me, you need to finish the Mystery Girls. It's already inked and lettered, and just color it and get it done. So I'm trying to get Mystery Girls done. Then I'm going to jump back over to Zomboy, and hopefully I can talk Renee into writing a few more of the Little Nay books, part of my Kid Hero line of stuff at Inferno Studios. Yeah.
Well, I know one of the big things, speaking of Zomboy, but I know one of the big things both of y'all have always been big on is creator rights, and something Tommy and I found out a few days ago. There's another comic book out called Zomboy, and in the advertisement,
yeah, I know, isn't that something else?
It refers to Thomas's Zomboy book from 1996.
Yeah, his ad said, "This is not Thomas Florimonte's Zomboy." It's pretty.
Then goes on to describe Thomas's book exactly the opposite of what it was. They said Zomboy was a ghost, and he was going around facing the problems of his world.
Like Casper the Ghost kind of a character or something.
Yeah, but
they said my name, and this is not, and they knew the year that it came out, and they go, "This is not the same book." Blah 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 blah. It was pretty funny. I liked it. It was good. Good laugh.
It was kind of well. Consider I did a little research afterwards. You could read the other books online digitally, but I guess the comic company that they were running independently publishing whatever, I guess went the way of the dodo. But I thought it'd been pretty funny if y'all ended up printing them.
Oh no! No, actually,
be a way for you to profit off of it.
Yeah, really. Well, actually, I ended up changing the name of Zomboy to Zomboy Kid Hero because I got a cease and desist from another company that had a book called Zombie Boy, and they were claiming that even though theirs was about zombies and mine's not about zombies at all, it's about little kids being superheroes. And so I took it to a lawyer, and they told me I probably should change the name because the name was too close. And I'm like, but mine came out first, but they were a big company and they had more money, of course. So I did. So I just tagged on Kid Hero at the end of it, and the lawyer said that'll work. That's fine. so, so that's
Sometimes
what
it doesn't take much.
No, it sure doesn't. But
well, so what's going on now? We were, with all this pandemic and craziness going on in the world right now. How's it affecting things? I mean, I know the convention season, which is something that does a lot of business for y'all, has kind of come to a grinding halt for the foreseeable future. But other than that, how is this affecting? You are still able to go in, and for anybody wanting to order stuff, are you still able to fulfill orders and things like that?
Well, we're under a stay-at-home order. We're in Orlando, Florida, so we're under a stay-at-home order. There's an exception in exception in the order because we're a mail order business and we don't have walk-in customers. There's a loophole for us, and so
are we essential? I think we're essential, but I mean, are we doctors and that kind of thing, or the grocery store? No.
But we can. I can go to the office from my house. I can walk out, get in my car, drive to the office, go inside,
not see another person,
go home, and not see another person.
Right.
The thing is, we don't have the business right now to keep going in every day. So we've been going in, a couple of times a week. We'll take turns. I'll go in one day, Thomas will go in the other.
Yeah, that's the social thing. So when Barry's there, I'm not. So and then we make sure we wipe down everything and making sure that the stuff we're sending out is clean and everything, and we're all doing what we're supposed to do to help push the curve down, as they keep saying. So so we're kind of like you at the store there. You got the door locked, so when we go in, we make sure. I mean, the mail's not running. Well, it is running, but we have to drop off everything.
Yeah.
So like Bear's saying, we go in every couple of days and knock out about 20, 30 orders and get them out the door and run them to the post office real quick as fast as we can with our mask on and everything, like a bandit, and and drop the stuff out. So we're keeping up on orders, and the orders actually, for whatever reason, this past week or so, there's a bunch of orders have been coming in. So I don't know. I guess they're
everybody's getting their tax refund.
Maybe so, but there's been some orders coming in. So we're are we busy? No. But we're keeping the presses running.
Well, like on a normal, like before all this started, on a normal work week, I mean, I know from talking about how long do you, I mean, I know sometimes y'all are up there, 16, 18 hours a day, just trying to keep things going. But kind of describe a day in the normal work day before this epidemic.
Well, for me, I've got 3 kids, one in middle school and 2 in high school, and so Jenny takes the middle schooler to work, and then I because she goes in a couple of a good deal later than the high schoolers. I've got to have the high schoolers at school by 7 a.m. So I take them to school, and then usually I'll go to a fast food place and just sit in the corner and write for an hour and a half, and then go into work around 9. And then most days, I'll leave 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's pretty much my average day. Try to take weekends off, but that's the average day. Sometimes go home and answer messages till around midnight, emails and messages about things. But that's mine. What's yours?
I try to get over there, 9-ish, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, depends on the traffic. And then we, at least stay until I don't have kids, if that's where we're going with it. so I just, whenever I can get up, and then, and then head on over. But we try to keep good business hours over there for sure, and try to get out 6-7 o'clock or whatever, and come back home. And usually I have I keep my laptop with me in the living room watching TV, and I'll go on and, like Barry said, answer some messages and try to work on the web a little bit, and just send invoices off as much as we can, answer questions. So there's always questions, everybody's always asking.
Yeah.
So we're there's all of us try to stay on we have a message center part of Ka-Blam, so we're always in there checking to see what what people need. So we're always answering questions just all the time, which is good. It's we try to keep on it. So, but that's pretty much, get there about 9, leave there about 6 or 7, come home, eat some dinner, watch TV with the wife, go to sleep, then repeat.
Yep.
Try to take the weekends off when we can.
Well, cool. Well, now, one of the questions, like I said, I mean, I already know the answer to this, but I kind of want to hear y'all's version of it. But, how exactly did you two meet to get all this stuff started?
Oh, it was a strip club in New Orleans. No. How do you remember, Barry? I tried to think about this the other day.
We've talked about this. I'm honestly not sure how we met. I know where we met, but I'm not sure the circumstances. It was in Hattiesburg,
Mississippi. Barry and Jenny was y'all were taking classes. I think I was out.
Actually, Jenny was working at the university, and I was taking classes.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And I remember us being involved with playing some superhero role playing games somehow or another, but I don't know if that's,
recall that.
Yeah, and it was through some other friends that that we met, and then then we all were like, you do comics? I want to do comics, and I started doing some stuff. I started getting involved with Stephen Butler and Mitch Bird and Roland Mann. They helped me break into the business. Barry was already good friends with Roland. He was high school, our elementary high school. Was it high school? Yeah. And yep. And they, so we all kind of, even though we all kind of hung around different people, at some point we just kind of met in Hattiesburg. I forget when that was. It was
91 or 92,
somewhere. Yeah. And then we all started, trying to let's do comics. And then actually at some point, Barry and I and his wife Jennifer, we all started a studio, because Jennifer does comics too. Well, we've mentioned that already, but she does comics too. So we all started a studio in the Humble building, is what we called it. Actually, Stephen Butler and Mitch Bird had an office, a studio space in the same building. And we all just kind of kept on doing it. So is that kind of how you remember it, or am I just making stuff up?
No, I mean, I just don't remember exactly when it was or under the circumstances that we met. Everything else, I've pretty clear recollection.
I think it was role-playing games. Playing superhero, not D&D, but more of heroes and vigilantes or champions. Or I think the guy that was our game master, I think he kind of merged several games together, and then that's what we were playing or something.
See, I don't remember anybody else.
Richard, remember that. Richard and William Anderson.
Okay, yeah. I don't remember him playing the games, but I don't know.
I remember when I first came, I think I met y'all through Stephen and Mitch. We had actually gone up there with I think I'd gone to Steve Scott had gone up there to the studio, and we had actually ended up walking down there and talking to y'all. And I think that was when I remember this crazy, because I remember first I was astonished with the coloring y'all were doing. So I think y'all were still doing it was it Inferno back then?
Yeah.
And I was astonished with it to the point where I ended up, getting a copy of the Photoshop program and going out and buying this top of the line Mac Daddy Pentium 75 computer with a whopping 1.08 gigabyte hard drive. which was the biggest they had. It was so big they actually had to put the .08 in there. And but yeah, then we just kind of all became friends, and after that, it's been
because you were working or you still are in the Biloxi Gulfport, Gulf Coast area, and so we met you through it was through Steve Scott. We met Steve Scott at a convention there on the coast, CoastCon. And then so he would come up from the coast, and I guess he brought you up one day, and then we all just and you were working at a shop, somebody else's shop, until you beat him down and took it, and then pushed him back to England or wherever he was from. Dave, that was his name, right? Dave.
Sure.
Oh, okay. We're not talking about that. Okay. Yeah. See, so you're smiling funny there.
You got Martin Piero's asking. He's wanting to fire up the distribution idea again, please. So the market's finally ready, and it just needs some tweaks.
Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to start jabbing needles in my eyes again.
We tried that. We tried it. We had a third part of our company called Comics Monkey, which was just a distributing entity. And at the time, now things are different now, but at the time, the comic shops, your comic shop, y'all didn't. Well, you didn't. You got our stuff all the time, but other comic shops didn't. They weren't going for it.
Yeah, we sunk a lot of money into that, and it just went over like a lead balloon.
Well, who knows? I mean, he may be right now with the state of Diamond shut down, and people right now are searching for alternate means to do just about anything. And who knows? This might be the time to get it out there. He may be right.
Man, for all of the crazy ideas that we've come up with over the past couple of years, that was a good one. We thought about doing the virtual Comic-Con kind of idea several times. Now may be a time to work on that too. But
actually, there's quite a few places doing that already now.
Yeah.
Save the industry.
the distribution thing is still. I still feel bad that failed for us the way it did. I really had high hopes for that, and
we put a lot of effort into getting that set up.
And I still think we had a really good model.
We did, and we kind of merged it into Indie Planet a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. The problem I think was that after this is, I'm going to get into the weeds here with some inside baseball kind of stuff, but I think the problem was, after the distributor wars of the 90s, I think people kind of underestimate just how fundamentally changed the market became after the way Diamond restructured their relationships with the major publishers. And I think in the 90s, there were, it was by no means a majority, but there were a lot of genuinely indie friendly comic shops, where you could count on these, this handful of shops to order your books if you contacted them. And I don't think a lot of those guys are around anymore.
Well, I think honestly,
and the ones who are just hanging on by their toenails right now and can't afford to gamble on indie books.
Speaking as one of the ones that was around during that time, also I think one of the biggest downfalls I see as far as that is done is the lack. Since you are a smaller press or dealing with people who are a smaller press, you're not relying on advertisements and things like that and publications to get things done. And honestly, where I saw it failed most of the time was not on your end. It was on the lack of the creators' ends, and this may upset a few people. But if they're not going around and I'm speaking as a retailer on this.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in and is not willing if they're not willing to put their own money into it, why should I? If they don't have enough faith to try to do whatever they can to get this in somebody else's hands, why should I care as a retailer? I have many things that y'all have shown me that y'all printed over the years, and and you say, hey, you got to check this out. And I've turned a couple people onto a bunch of them too. Weapon Brown being probably one of the biggest ones I can think of off the top of my head. And so far, I've not found anything I don't like. But the biggest problem is, if it weren't for you two, going out there and pushing them and talking about them, I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's these smaller guys that don't have a company behind them, smaller publishers. I mean, or individual people putting out, one or two books. It's the only thing that they're putting out. They don't have, the, like a big company like Marvel behind them that is pushing it to the comic shops all the time. There is that problem.
But if they can, it's easy for them to go around to their local places. I mean, you could drive 2-3 hours out, hit up all the shops, say, hey, look, if you'll carry this book, I'll come in here, do a signing, I'll do sketches, I'll do whatever. You've got to do your due diligence, and you both know, because you've been there before. You got to put the time in. You may not make your money back to begin with, but if you want it to be successful, you've got to put that effort forth, because nobody's going to believe in you till you start showing you believe in yourself.
This may be a real dated reference, but there was a real brief Field of Dreams window in comics where, if you build it, they will come. That lasted for a few years in the 90s, and that window is slammed shut. Just because you make a great comic doesn't mean anybody gives a shit. So you've got to be your own cheerleader. You've got to be your own marketing department. If you're making comics, you've got to let people know that you're doing it and why they should care. We have some books at Indie Planet, for example, that have consistently sold from the time they've gone up.
Yeah, years and years and years.
Years and years, and they're still selling.
Yeah.
And then we have other books that come up that just look absolutely amazing. They're great books, and they don't sell. They don't sell at all.
Yeah, yeah. We always,
no,
we always tell.
It all comes down to how willing, the creator and the publisher are.
Yeah.
To get out there and market it.
We're always telling them. They ask us, how do we sell our books more and more? And I say, you've got, we've got the way for you to get the books to the customers, but you've got to get out there and sell your book. We're there's only a couple of us in the office, and we try to, we're printing all day long and trying to keep the lights on and everything and trying to get the books out. But, there's, how many books do we have at Indie Planet right now? There's
close to 8,000.
Yeah, there is a lot of books, and well over half of them are excellent books. You should go and look. There's all kind of great stuff there. But as far as selling the books, the creators got to get out there and sell their stuff.
Yeah.
They just all the time push everywhere, sell it everywhere.
I'm gonna put the website for Indie Planet up real quick.
indieplanet.com.
Yeah, INDY. Yep, there we go.
There you go. That's it.
One too many W's there, but
I can fix that. I can fix that very easily. And backspace and done.
Let's see.
Da-da-da.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Look, I didn't even notice. My spelling is terrible.
And we've got some scripts and devices and things at the site to kind of keep the pot stirred and keep things that have been there a while bubbling back up to the front page and to some of the recommended sections. But by and large, the key to selling an independent comic today is being the creator being willing to go out and sell their independent comic.
Absolutely. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, not as a publisher side or creator side, but as a retailer side. Like I said, unless somebody comes in and sells me on it, then if they're not passionate, like somebody comes in, hey, will you carry my comic book? It's called this, and then turns around and leaves. Chances are probably not. But if they come in and they constantly let us know what's going on and kind of give us a general idea, if they're passionate about it, you can share that passion.
The
Yeah.
cool thing about Indie Planet right now is that we, besides the print stuff, it's also has a digital side to it also,
Right.
and on the digital side there is a lot of free. The creators have there's a lot of free stuff up there too. So that go to indieplanet.com. One of the little things across the top there's a free icon, right?
There's a free, but I've also put that on the front page as well. Now there's a big free section on the front page.
Yeah, and right now is a great time since you can't go anywhere. So go there and just download all the free books you want and read them. And then if you like them, tell your comic store people to buy them, the print version. Because if it's a digital version there's a print version there. That's one of the things, because we are, Ka-Blam is a printing company. So even though there's digital versions, all the digital versions have print versions up there, of course. And so order a print version but go see all the free stuff. Lots of free stuff. Go enjoy yourself. Just have fun.
Really good stuff. I mean, right now nothing else is being printed or put out. So, now take a chance to go out there and find something that you maybe have never even heard of before. Will probably end up being your next new favorite.
Yeah, and because the stores are closed, the comic shops are for the most part closed. I guess you guys doing
we're doing mail order, but as far as actually walk-in business,
no, you're not supposed to, because you have Mississippi's on lockdown too, right?
Well, actually, we found out we could, but we have to limit the amount of people coming in. But honestly, I'd rather not even chance it.
You're essential. You look essential. I mean, look at all this good stuff in the background I see back there. It's all kind of good stuff.
My thing is, with my real job, I have a little more chance of exposure than most people do. So I don't want to go along and accidentally pass along to somebody else. So
the stripper job that you have,
well, that and prostitution.
Oh,
but
I wasn't gonna.
I go ahead and make sure. I said we clean everything, we spray stuff down. Whenever I'm packaging stuff up, I wear gloves just to make sure we're as safe as possible, to make sure that I don't want to be responsible for spreading it to anybody else. So, and I don't want anybody else spreading it to me. So we
exactly
do mail order, and if somebody wants to come along, we'll do curbside service. Same thing. I'll get everything, put gloves on, put it together.
You yell through what do you want? And they go Spider-Man and this, and you say back up, and you throw it out the door and close the door real quick.
Well, we were thinking about putting like a little mail slot so I can just slide it to them.
There you go. That'll work. That's that's what we should do at the Ka-Blam office. When the postal guy comes by, we can just shove it out the front door. It's like, take it, go.
You ought to get them to come and put one of those big mail drop boxes just for y'all.
Now we're running the stuff to the post office now, so they don't have to. We're real friendly with our postal guy. Or there's several of them, but there's one guy in particular. So we told him, don't worry about it till now. We'll let you know when well, I mean, of course he'll know when everybody's back at work. But we're running the stuff to the post office. So
another thing that's probably worth mentioning about trying to run a print on demand comics business in the time of a pandemic is, even though Thomas and I can take turns going over to the office and get a few things out, we're still really at the mercy of a couple of things. There's supplies and consumables.
Yeah.
And so we're pretty well stocked right now.
Yeah, we tried to make sure that we filled up
stuff.
Yeah.
But we're at the mercy of temperamental electronics, and if we run out of consumables, there's certain materials that the presses consume in the process of making the comics. So if we run out of some of those consumables and have trouble getting them back in, then the press is down.
Right.
Similarly, if we have a technical issue or a fatal error that shuts the press down, we've got to get a service call. We got to get a technician to come out and fix the machine.
And
that might not be possible. Right
and they're kind of, it's not that it's sketchy, but they've reduced, to make sure that their guys don't get sick too. So they're, so it's all, that's not they service some essential places, that
Right.
they have printers that they have to go service, but I don't know if they would consider ours, a hospital type situation where they have to come by and fix a machine if it's down.
So even if we tried to get back up, I mean, like I said, we don't have the business right now to get back up to speed, but even if we tried to get back up to speed, there are outside things out of our control that could keep us from being able to do that. So, and technical issues and fatal errors happen, once a week whenever we're running at full speed easily.
Yeah, several times a week, most of the time.
So,
and especially now that it's just one or the other of us there every now and again, we're both Barry and I can pretty much, run everything, but we're each of us is really good at certain things, and if I'm not there on a day that something's broke that Barry needed me to help him with, or if the vice versa, then it just stops again, until one of us can because we're really trying to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves along with with the world, but we're trying to make sure we
heaven forbid your arm gets stuck inside of one of them and you're the only one there.
That's Mr. Barry. Mr. Barry got stuck in a printer not too long ago, last year I think it was.
Yeah. Martin Piero's got a question here.
A good question.
Answer. Have we seen an uptick in Indie Planet orders? We've seen a market uptick in digital downloads.
Yes.
Print orders, because we've got a notice on the front page that print orders are going to be going out a lot slower than. I touch my face way too often.
Oh, don't touch it. Well, you're at home. You washed up.
Yeah. Because we've got a notice that print orders are going out a lot more slowly. We haven't really seen a big uptick in print orders, but we've definitely seen an uptick in digital downloads. And we've also seen a big uptick in people saying, how do I get my book on your site? I've been there. I run a backlog all the time of books waiting to go up at Indie Planet, and sometimes that backlog gets ridiculously large. So one of the things I've been trying to do during the shutdown is clear that backlog out, and I'm making some good headway there. So once I can get that backlog under control, there's a few things we can try to do to make it easier and more streamlined for people to get their books up at Indie Planet.
Now, the stuff at Indie Planet, that's the stuff that normally is available for print through y'all. They've ordered through y'all before.
Right.
But there is no extra charge for them to go onto Indie Planet, or
no.
So basically, if somebody orders a book off Indie Planet, you print it out, mail it off, and then basically send them a check for it.
Yeah, in a nutshell, they set their cover price, and then whenever an order is placed, we fulfill that order. We subtract the printing cost from their cover price, and then they get whatever's left.
Yeah,
cool.
So because the customer is paying the postage already, so they get everything. Oh, look, Steve Scott is up there. He's in another country. Is he even awake at this hour? What's going on?
I think they're 7 hours ahead of us. Or 7 hours ahead of me. It's only 6 hours ahead of you.
But yeah, the creator gets everything minus the printing. So it's a win for them. They don't have to do anything.
So
right.
So if your cover price is $4 and your print cost is $2,
you make $2.
Yeah.
You get the difference,
50% margin you can on every sale.
And then we don't do it's like some of the other companies that we've dealt with before, where there's like every month, every couple of months or whatever that you can get to. You can, if you get this week, you do a whole bunch. You can request your payouts whenever you want.
Cash out whenever you want. Yeah.
So so we don't wait. I mean, it's your money.
I need to get Carl to get Spooderman on there.
Well, what we do also is we give Ka-Blam customers the option to turn their Indie Planet earnings into Ka-Blam credit.
Okay.
At an increased ratio. So if for every $1 they earn through Indie Planet sales, they can turn that into $1.10 of Ka-Blam credit. So we have a lot of customers who never pay
They
for
just
their
keep,
print orders.
yeah, they just keep rolling it over into
their
the
sales at
Ka-Blam
Indie
print.
Planet cover their print costs all the time.
Yeah, we've got it set up so you don't even have to request that it happens. You just, there's a little check mark on your user page where it says make all Indie Planet money, your credits, your sales automatically get, so when you put in an order, it just automatically happens. You don't have to do anything. So you don't have to request it or anything. It just automatically happens. Yeah.
Wow, cool. I'm learning stuff. I thought I knew a lot of the stuff about it, and apparently there's a lot of
Oh no,
stuff
we've had a lot of work on this on the Ka-Blam site in the Indie Planet site.
Well, I mean, y'all been doing it for quite a while.
And speaking of work, we're actually working on it now. We are trying. Look, Steve Scott said it's 9 p.m. over there. We're redesigning all of the Ka-Blam site so that it'll actually look like a site from 2020 rather than from
the year 2000 like it does now.
Exactly. Everything, yeah. So hopefully, we everybody hates what's going on right now, of course, but it's given us the opportunity to fix a lot of things. I mentioned earlier that we've had so many ideas of things that that would have helped Ka-Blam, would have helped the comics community if we could have actually done them. And we've got we don't have it written down, but we've got a book this thick that's got so many ideas of stuff that we've been meaning to do, and we're trying to get the Ka-Blam printing queue caught up and ahead and get done. And we're actively redesigning the whole Ka-Blam site now, so it'll look modern. Barry's doing the designs. It's looking really, really good.
Thanks.
Are y'all still going to stick to the theme of using Steven's artwork on the thing?
Well, the
Katie.
Yeah, the girl he accidentally designed for us years and years ago has just kind of become ubiquitous. I mean, you see that, you see her, you think of Ka-Blam. So there's no.
Wait a minute, there she is.
You got to keep the mascot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's 15 years of marketing behind her at this point, and and hundreds of thousands, maybe a couple of million books. With her on the back cover, why would we'd be crazy to change that?
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, guys, thank y'all for stopping by. And
does anybody else have any questions out there? Do you see any more?
Yeah, we can. We got a few people in here still. If anybody else has any other questions, feel free to ask. But
they're tired of it. They want to.
While we're waiting, I figure we've been here about an hour so far.
Yeah,
probably a little over an hour.
Hour two.
Yeah, but thank y'all for coming by. It's good seeing both of y'all again, and we'll have to do something like this again pretty soon.
Whenever, all the time. Just let us know.
Drag Mitch out of his cave and make him do it with us next time.
I might have to do that, but of course all he has is a flip phone. But I'll have to let him borrow mine.
Just make him sit beside you there.
Well, we'll figure out a way to get him on here.
That'd be fun.
Good.
All right, so Steve.
Everybody, take care. Keep your hands clean. Keep your hands clean. Don't touch your face.
Don't touch your face like I've been doing the whole podcast.
All right.
Love you guys.